This is the Bleeding Yankee Blue podcast, discussing and debating BYB Episode 5. So, imagine your team has won 9 of their last 13 games.
Okay, that's a good stretch.
Right. And you are sitting just 3 games out of first place in the notoriously brutal American League East.
Yeah, that division is a meat grinder.
It really is. And the calendar just flipped to late August. So normally, you'd expect the fan base to be absolutely elated. Right?
Oh, yeah, that is the traditional trajectory of, late summer baseball joy.
Right. You should be mapping out the playoff rotation and just kind of enjoying the ride.
Yeah, you endure the grind of the whole season specifically to feel that September thrill.
Exactly. But instead, if you dive into the Bleeding Yankee Blue blog this month, the fan base is gripped by this just paralyzing, exhausting anxiety.
Yeah, it's really palpable in the post.
It is. We are looking at a stack of sources from this highly opinionated, very passionate blog, all from August 2026. And the mood is incredibly volatile. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this specific messy moment in Yankee history. We're looking at a franchise trying to balance, rookie sensations, physically deteriorating veterans, and this deep-seated mistrust of their own front office and manager.
Which honestly makes this a perfect case study in roster construction and just general fan psychology.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what we're really examining today is the friction between a franchise's overarching data-driven development philosophy and the desperate win-now reality of a late-season pennant race.
Right, the philosophy versus the reality. Let's start with the absolute center of gravity for this team right now, because there's one player driving this recent surge.
Yeah, there definitely is.
It's a 21-year-old rookie shortstop named George Lombard Jr.
Yep.
He was just called up on August 4th. And reading through these posts, Lombard isn't just providing an energy boost. It's like he's acting like a newly installed pacemaker for this entire offense.
That's a really good way to put it.
Because before him, the lineup was just kind of, sluggish, just waiting for a massive power surge to beat. But Lombard is forcing a completely different rhythm.
He is. He's a catalyst that's changing the actual mechanics of how they win games.
Wait, how do you mean the mechanics?
Well, the emphasis in these posts isn't just on his statistics, though.
Yeah.
Those are impressive.
Right.
It's the style of play.
Yeah.
He is injecting this brand of chaos that modern baseball often really struggles to defend against.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let's look at the Wednesday night game in Baltimore then, because I think this paints such a vivid picture of that chaos you're talking about.
Yeah, that game was wild.
Right. So the game is tied 3-3 in the 8th inning. Bases are loaded. Now, if you're listening to this and you follow modern baseball, we are firmly in the era of launch angles and exit velocity.
Right. Everyone swings for the fences.
Exactly. The expectation is that the batter needs to optimize his swing to launch the ball 450 feet into the bleachers.
Yeah, because modern offenses are built to hit the ball in the air incredibly hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates a very static, station-to-station game. You just wait for the 3-run home run.
But Lombard ignores that entirely. He puts the ball on the ground, and he just busts it down the first baseline.
Just pure hustle.
Pure hustle. He beats the play for an infield single, bringing home the go-ahead run. And the speed just creates sheer panic in the infield. And that pressure is what forces a mistake.
Yeah, it completely disrupts the geometry of the defense.
The geometry.
Yeah, because when a player has elite speed and actually utilizes it to put the ball in play, infielders rush their throws.
Right, they panic.
Exactly. Pitchers panic about the base runner instead of focusing on the next batter. It's a fundamental, almost old-school baseball truth that just gets lost when everyone is just swinging for the fences.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And it isn't just his offense changing the geometry. There's a defensive play highlighted here where Lombard ranged deep to his right, planted himself in the hole, and fired across the diamond to rob Christian Encarnation's Strand of a hit.
Oh, that play was unbelievable.
Right. Pitcher Carlos Rodon's reaction on the broadcast was just pure amazement. You can practically see the pitchers finally exhaling, realizing they have a truly instinctual shortstop behind them.
Having an elite defender completely alters a pitcher's approach.
Really? How so?
Well, they stop trying to strike everyone out, which, drives up pitch counts and fatigues the arm.
Oh, I gotcha.
And instead, they start trusting their defense to actually make plays behind them.
So we have this pacemaker changing the team's rhythm. And since his arrival, he's putting up great numbers, right? He's hitting .292 with the .790 OPS in his first 48 at-bats.
Yeah, a super solid start.
But I want to pivot to a moment that reveals so much about the fan psychology right now. Friday night against Toronto, Lombard dropped a foul ball.
Just a total unforced error.
A straight-up ugly error. Now, Yankee fans demand perfection. I mean, they can be vicious.
Oh, notoriously vicious.
Right. Yet, the reaction in these posts is just a collective shrug. They're completely willing to forgive this rookie's mistake, essentially saying, let him play, let him screw up.
Which is so rare for that fan base.
Right. So why the sudden patience?
The context of his arrival is everything here.
Yeah.
The patience stems directly from the mechanics of his development.
Okay.
Lombard was drafted in 2023, and the Yankees forced him to navigate the minor league system slowly. He had to earn his promotions at every single level.
Which he did. I mean, in the minors this year, he had an OPS of 909. And for those listening who might not obsess over stats, OPS combines how often a player gets on base with his pure hitting power.
Right.
So an OPS over 900 means you are absolutely dominating that level of pitching.
So when he gets the call to the majors, he is viewed as a finished product in terms of readiness.
Yeah.
The fans recognize that a dropped foul ball isn't a sign of being overmatched. It's just a natural growing pain for a 21-year-old adjusting to the brightest lights in sports.
All right.
He has legitimate upside that was cultivated properly.
Well, and if that immense patience for Lombard is born out of his slow development, reading between the lines of this blog, that patience also feels incredibly haunted.
Oh, totally.
It feels like a direct trauma response to how the Yankees mishandled their previous supposed savior at shortstop.
Yeah, the ghost of Anthony Volpe is hovering over every single one of these posts.
Yes.
The contrast the fans are drawing between Lombard and Volpe is just devastating.
They actually call it the Great Volpe Misread. The underlying narrative here is that the Yankees handed Volpe the starting major league job way too early.
Way too early.
They decided to finish his development in the Bronx, essentially leaving his training wheels on, while the team was simultaneously trying to win a championship.
And developing a player at the major league level is mathematically and psychologically brutal.
Because the pitching is just so much better.
Exactly. Major league pitchers are ruthless. If you have a mechanical flaw in your swing, they will find it in 3 at-bats and just exploit it endlessly.
Oh, man.
In the minors, a player has the breathing room to tinker with their mechanics, to fail for a week without it making the back page of a tabloid.
But in New York, you are trying to make those adjustments while 40,000 people are groaning at every single strikeout.
Right.
The phrase used in the sources that really lands a punch is, mistakes became patterns. Patterns became seasons.
It is a systemic failure of player development.
Yeah.
Because Volpe was thrust into a win-now environment. He was just trying to survive at the plate rather than refine his approach.
Right.
And the result of that survival mode is that at 25 years old, he has been sent all the way back down to the minor leagues to play second base.
Which is just a staggering collapse of a prospect's trajectory. And the blog suggests fan pressure finally forced the front office's hand, claiming the team tried to bury the demotion story late on a Monday night just to avoid the backlash.
Yeah, they tried to sneak it past the news cycle.
But Volpe isn't the only one. Austin Wells is also catching massive heat. He's stuck in a horrific slump, batting just .175 after hitting in the 220s in previous years.
The trend lines for these highly touted prospects are pointing entirely in the wrong direction.
Right. But let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Sure.
The writer flat out declares that sometimes the scouts simply got the player wrong regarding Wells. But baseball is a game of failure, right? Hitting a 98-mile-per-hour slider is arguably the hardest physical task in sports.
Oh, without a doubt.
So is it really a failure of the scouts or just the reality that hitting major league pitching eventually breaks almost everyone?
The difficulty of hitting is undeniable, but that actually misses the deeper argument these posts are making.
Okay, what's the deeper argument?
The real anger is directed at institutional arrogance.
How so?
Well, the frustration isn't merely about a 175 batting average.
Right.
The frustration is that the Yankees front office operates on a proprietary set of data models. They repeatedly ask the fan base to trust their internal numbers.
Right, like just wait it out.
Exactly. To wait patiently because the underlying analytics suggest a massive breakout is right around the corner.
But when fans watch games over multiple seasons, the on-field reality shows these players are physically incapable of making the necessary adjustments.
It's a classic gaslighting scenario.
Yo, wow. Yeah.
The team is essentially saying, who are you going to believe? Our state-of-the-art predictive algorithms or your own lying eyes?
That's a great way to put it. And when a player like Volpe ends up back in the minors at 25, it shatters whatever fragile trust the fans had in those algorithms.
Yeah, it invalidates the entire modern scouting machine in the eyes of the public.
Which creates a massive structural problem for the roster. Because if Volpe and Wells are proving that the youth pipeline isn't a reliable safety net, the entire burden of this pennant race shifts to the established veterans. The team desperately needs their stars to anchor the lineup. But that safety net has a massive $32 million a year hole in it.
Ah, yes. You are talking about Giancarlo Stanton.
Yes, I am. The post dealing with Stanton is one of the most blunt, painful pieces of sports writing in this entire stack.
It really is.
It is a direct plea for a 36-year-old man to retire.
Yeah.
He has been out since April 24th, a right calf injury, and he recently suffered a rehab setback with that exact same calf.
You know, the writer goes out of their way to clarify, this isn't a personal attack.
Right, they respect him.
Yeah, Stanton is a former MVP, a 5-time All-Star. He has been a true professional.
Yeah.
But the laundry list of injuries is just staggering.
I have the list right here, and it reads like a medical textbook.
It's unbelievable.
It's biceps, shoulder, knee, quad, ankle, Achilles, hamstrings. Issues in both elbows that caused him to miss 70 games back in 2025.
Yeah.
As the blog puts it so perfectly, at some point your body gets a vote. And Stanton's body has been voting NO for years.
Well, to be fair, the blog acknowledges he still possesses terrifying raw power.
Right.
They specifically note this isn't a tragic situation like, say, Willie Mays stumbling around the outfield for the Mets at the end of his career, unable to catch a routine fly ball.
Oh, right.
If Stanton connects, he can still punish a baseball.
But holding on to that potential power is destroying the team's flexibility. Keeping Stanton on the roster is like paying a premium insurance policy on a vintage sports car that spends 10 months out of the year sitting in the repair shop.
That's exactly it.
It doesn't matter if it can go 200 miles an hour if you can never legally take it out of the garage.
That analogy perfectly illustrates the roster construction nightmare a general manager faces.
Yeah.
Think about the mechanics of how a baseball lineup functions. Because Stanton's body is so fragile, he cannot play the outfield.
Okay.
Therefore, he permanently clogs up the designated hitter spot.
And why is that a structural problem?
Because the DH spot is a crucial tool for a manager to provide half days of rest to other aging players.
Oh.
If Stanton is always a DH, it means a player like Aaron Judge has to play the grueling outfield every single day, which vastly increases Judge's own risk of injury.
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought of that.
A fragile player doesn't just hurt the team by being absent. He actively wears down the rest of the roster by eliminating rotational flexibility.
It's a total domino effect of fatigue. And Stanton is under contract through 2027.
Yep.
If you're building a championship contender, how can you rely on a vital roster spot being occupied by someone playing medical roulette?
You really can't.
The blog describes his season as a perpetual Groundhog Day cycle. They say injury, IL, rehab, running, setback, Aaron Boone update, more rehab.
And with Stanton out, Volpe demoted, and the pressure mounting, the front office has no choice but to scramble.
Yeah.
The pristine blueprints from spring training are completely thrown out the window, and you enter a phase of pure patchwork.
Which brings us to the chaotic mix of rehabs, injuries, and absolute lottery tickets that are somehow holding this late-season surge together.
It's holding on by a thread.
Seriously. Let's start with the minor victories. Cody Bellinger is back.
That is a significant sigh of relief for the lineup.
It really is. He missed nearly a month with a grade 2 left hamstring strain.
Yeah.
For anyone listening who has ever pulled a muscle, a grade 2 strain isn't just a tweak, it's a partial tear of the muscle fibers.
Yeah, that's serious.
It completely saps a player's explosive speed, which Bellinger relies heavily on. Now, his AAA rehab assignment wasn't pretty offensively. He went 0 for 3, but the blog is actually thrilled because he played 6 innings in left field, chased down fly balls, and had 0 setbacks.
Because at this stage of the season, rehab games are entirely structural tests.
Meaning what, exactly?
Batting average doesn't matter. The only metric that counts is whether the hamstring holds up when he stops abruptly to field a ball.
Oh.
So getting a proven bat back, fully functioning, is a massive win.
And there are other bright spots. Spencer Jones just hit his 7th home run, providing some needed pop. Pitcher Carlos Rodon is healthy and actually looking sharp. But the bad news on the pitching front is ominous.
Very ominous.
Max Fried is back on the IL, the injured list, which is essentially the graveyard for late-season momentum.
Yeah.
And Ryan Weathers had to leave a start against Toronto with, quote, left forearm discomfort.
Those are 3 words that cause a front office to break into a cold sweat.
Really? Why is that phrase so bad?
In baseball physiology, forearm discomfort almost always points toward structural issues in the elbow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which frequently leads to Tommy John surgery. The pitching depth is literally evaporating right as they hit the home stretch.
Which forces general manager Brian Cashman into the bargain bin. He goes out and signs 30-year-old right-hander Eli Morgan to a minor league deal.
Yeah.
Now, Morgan was sitting on a 5.12 ERA with Kansas City this year. He was getting shelled. My question is, how does signing a guy with an ERA over 5 help a team trying to win a pennant? Is this a stroke of genius or just pure, unadulterated desperation?
It is the absolute definition of a low-risk, high-reward lottery ticket.
Okay.
When a team's pitching is evaporating, they rely on their internal coaching infrastructure. The Yankees have what fans refer to as the Matt Bleed Pitching Laboratory, named after their pitching coach.
Right. How does that laboratory actually work with a guy like Morgan? Like, what are they actually doing?
They are looking for mechanical flaws they can immediately tweak. A guy with a 5.12 ERA isn't necessarily broken beyond repair. Sometimes moving a pitcher 2 inches to the left on the throwing rubber or changing the grip on his slider by a few millimeters alters the spin rate just enough to make his pitches unhittable again.
Oh, wow. Just tiny adjustments.
Exactly. And the Yankees know Morgan has that potential because in 2024 with Cleveland, he posted a 1.93 ERA.
Okay.
Yeah, that was over 42 innings.
So the elite talent is buried in there somewhere, and the Yankees think they have the map to find it.
Precisely. And because it's a minor league deal, there is zero financial risk.
Right.
If they can't fix his mechanics, he stays in the minors and it costs them nothing.
Yeah.
But if they unlock that 2024 version, they suddenly have a high-leverage bullpen arm for the playoff push. It's a calculated gamble born of necessity.
Okay, let's step back and look at the whole board here.
Let's do it.
You have this patched-together, chaotic roster. You're riding the unpredictable pacemaker energy of a 21-year-old rookie.
Yep.
You've got Bellinger cautiously returning from a torn hamstring. You've got Cashman buying scratch-off tickets to fix a crumbling bullpen.
Yeah.
And miraculously, this duct tape and wire team has won 9 of 13 games.
It's kind of amazing.
But reading the blog, there is one final massive hurdle to this team actually succeeding in October. And that hurdle is sitting on the top step of the dugout.
Manager Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone.
The level of deep-seated mistrust the fan base harbors toward him, well, it permeates every single post we reviewed.
It really does. Even in a post celebrating a gritty 5-3 win over Baltimore, the anxiety about Boone is still the main takeaway. The team is finding ways to win. Starter Will Warren could only go 4 innings, and the bullpen stepped up and threw shutdown relief. 8 of the 9 starters got a hit in Baltimore.
Right.
The clubhouse is clearly gelling. Yet, the blogger explicitly questions Boone's ability to, quote, change the temperature in the room. They ask a terrifying question.
Wow.
What happens when the Yankees stop making Aaron Boone look good?
It's a fascinating look into the psychology of how fans assign credit and blame.
Let me push back on the fans' perspective here, though.
Sure, go ahead.
If you manage a team that has won 9 of 13 and a rookie like Lombard is flying around the bases, injecting all this life into the dugout, shouldn't the manager get some credit for fostering an environment where that chemistry can thrive?
From a logical standpoint, yes.
Right.
But fan psychology rarely operates on logic when it comes to the manager.
Fair point.
When a team succeeds on raw, emotional momentum, a diving catch, an aggressive sprint to first base, a rookie sparking a rally, fans perceive that as visible physical effort. They credit the players for overcoming the odds, often feeling the players are winning despite the managerial structure.
Oh, I see. So the emotional impact of a player is highly visible, whereas the mathematical impact of a manager is completely invisible.
That's the core of it, yeah. A manager's job in the modern era is heavily tied to tactical margins.
Like what?
Knowing exactly when the math dictates pulling a starter or matching up a specific reliever against a specific pinch hitter, and that invisible math is where Boone loses the fan base.
Because what happens when that rookie magic inevitably cools off?
Exactly. High-pressure September baseball isn't always won on raw energy. It is won on those tactical margins.
Right.
The fans look at Boone, and they don't see a strategist capable of recognizing a structural flaw before it spirals into a 5-game losing streak.
Whoa.
They view him as a passenger on a train currently being driven by a 21-year-old.
Yeah, Lombard.
Right. They are terrified that when the tactical maneuvering becomes the deciding factor in a playoff game, Boone's reliance on those same flawed internal numbers that ruined Volpe will end up costing them the season.
So what does this all mean for the listener trying to make sense of this team? We are looking at a beautiful, highly stressful mess.
Very stressful.
The August 2026 Yankees are trapped in a bizarre purgatory. They are haunted by the rush development of Anthony Volpe, yet entirely dependent on the immediate spark of George Lombard Jr.
Yeah.
They are built around the massive contract of Giancarlo Stanton, whose body is physically breaking down, creating a domino effect that forces the front office to hunt for lottery tickets like Eli Morgan just to field a pitching staff. And hovering above all this chaos is the strategic shadow of Aaron Boone, a manager the fan base genuinely fears.
It is a remarkable snapshot of a franchise caught between its own philosophies, desperately trying to survive the present while their long-term plans crumble.
It really is.
Which actually brings me to a final thought for us to consider, looking at the totality of these sources.
Oh, okay. What's the takeaway?
Well, the Yankees' vaunted, highly analytical modern scouting machine failed spectacularly by rushing Volpe and refusing to believe the visible on-field results.
Right.
Yet, they succeeded brilliantly with Lombard by forcing him to slowly, methodically earn his promotions in the minor leagues, trusting a very traditional process.
Okay, yeah.
So does this mean the Yankees, and perhaps baseball at large, need to abandon their rigid reliance on modern internal metrics and return to the old-school, slow-burn patience of traditional player development? It seems the very philosophy that is currently saving their season is the one they've been most hesitant to embrace.
Wow, that is such a great point to leave everyone with. Thanks for listening to the Bleeding Yankee Blue podcast. Come back next week.